All right, welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course, and we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Midland Dow girls basketball team, Kyle Thiesen. How's it going, man?
Good. Good to be here. Thanks.
Okay, so you just got through I could say one of the most bizarre seasons ever. Um, didn't I mean it started way later than many expected it to, but ultimately you guys did get to play and you guys had a pretty good run.
Yeah, it was good that we finally got to play. There was times when it was gonna, not really sure what was gonna happen, not really sure if we were gonna have a chance to have a season, and in the end, to be able to play, that's really all we can ask. It was a little later than everybody hoped for, a little more condensed than everybody hoped for, but in the end, we got to play 17 regular season games, so not too far off from a full schedule. And the girls actually ended up liking this schedule a lot better because 3 games in a week, a lot less practices, more games. So it was, the fun level was definitely higher. Being able to play the games the way we did, and to have this run was pretty special for our school, pretty special for our team, and it was something that we were able to get through with all the pandemics and keeping everybody healthy, and it was ended up pretty successful.
What was the most challenging part about this year for you personally and for the team, and how did the girls handle it?
I don't think the pandemic was too hard to handle this year. The schedule was fine. It was more about us trying to manage minutes quite a bit during the regular season and trying to manage practice time a lot. Normally we'd go pretty hard in practice, but with so many games, we didn't want to have a fatigue injury at any point where somebody's muscles are worn out, and that's when injuries seem to happen quite a bit. So we did a lot of minute monitoring during the regular season, especially those first couple of weeks when we started up. I guess load management, you could call it. And then in practices, we didn't run sprints at all. Our conditioning was our games, and we didn't want anybody to get worn out during the regular season. And then as it progressed into the postseason, then we started to really amp up and do more running and make sure, because the minutes were going to go up as we got in the postseason. So that was not necessarily challenging, but just a different mindset than what we would have normally done in a typical year of really trying to make sure we had the rest we needed.
So going into this year, did you feel, how do you feel like you did managing like all this stuff?
I think we did a good job. I think the girls did a good job. They never complained about masks. They never complained about the schedule. They were just excited to play and did everything they could to get out on the court. And so it was, I thought everybody handled it really well. I thought the state handled it well as best they could with whatever, executive orders were handed down, and to still be able to crown state champions this year is a big step in the right direction after last year.
Yeah. So obviously you had quite the run to got to go to the Breslin Center and all that, but just to kind of experience, you played some really, really tough teams to get there.
Yeah, it was something that getting to the point of regional finals again was a big goal of ours, and at that point we know there's going to be some really good teams once you get that far.
Yeah.
So the regional final against Flushing, who have been on a roll, played us really tough. They're such a good team. Made us work really hard for that regional title. And then Heartland just posed challenges that we hadn't seen all year because of their height and athleticism. There's no teams that we played during the regular season that could bring what they brought in terms of their personnel. So it was a big challenge for us. I thought the girls responded really well. Thought that we played probably one of the best games of our season, probably the best game of the season when we needed it most. And that was especially big for us without Chloe McVeigh getting injured the day before that game. So going in there without her as somebody that started every game for the last 2 years, one of our top defenders, and really an emotional leader of the team. So it was something that to try to get through that Heartland team without her was not easy. They're a really good team, and for us to come out and on top of that to be in the Final Four, to go to Breslin for the first time in our school's history, that was a really big win. That was pretty special. And then we just ran into a Hudsonville team that was amazing. Across the board, everybody, it seemed like every single player is 6 feet tall on that team. I know not everyone was, but it seems like they are. Really good, sound defensive team, really good shooting team, really good ball handling team, really good rebounding team. I mean, just everything, they check every box. And I thought we played well. I thought we stayed with them. I thought we proved that we are somebody that belongs on that stage. And in the end, without Chloe again, I thought our legs got lost from us a little bit there at the end, having played more minutes on a bigger court than we're used to. And that was something that, given an opportunity with Chloe, I'd love to try to play that game again, but that's not the way it works. So we got to go with what we have. And, they were a great team. And then they proved it on Friday in the state finals, beating Renaissance. So it's nothing to be ashamed of to lose to the best.
Yeah. Okay. So for a lot of people who may not follow Midland Dow girls basketball or high school sports overall, kind of talk about some of the players that really kind of stood out for you this year.
So our league MVP for the last 2 years has been Jada Garner. She's our point guard. She's a senior. Jada's one of our leaders, one of them. Very good shooter, very good slasher, driver, and really a top defender too. We asked her to do a lot in that semifinal game by guarding Elena Diaz, the point guard from Hudsonville. I thought she did a really good job limiting her scoring. Unfortunately, she used so much energy on defense that didn't really have her legs for the scoring that she would normally do for us. But Jade is an incredible defender. She's gonna go to Hope next year to play, and I think she's gonna be really, really good there. Also, our second leading scorer was Alexa Kolnitis. She's a junior shooting guard, just incredible improvements that she's made. Last season, she missed the first half because of a knee injury over the summer. And when she came back last year, she was never really got to full strength towards the end of the season, but was playing well. And then this year, she increased all of her numbers, all of her shooting numbers, all of her scoring numbers, rebounding, steals, played her best basketball in all of our biggest games too. She was incredible against Heartland and Flushing, and then had a great game too in the semifinals. So it was nice to see Alexa make so many big improvements. Then our leading scorer in the semifinal game was Abby Ray, another junior. She's kind of an in-between player, plays forward and guard for us. She plays forward mostly out of necessity as our tallest player at 5'10", but really is more of a shooting guard role when she gets to the next level. But great shooter, great slasher, good all-around player. Those were our three top scorers, and then you already talked about Chloe McVeigh, just a defensive specialist. Always defends the other team's best player, no matter if they're 5'4" or 6 foot tall. She's always got that assignment. Just an incredible defender. And and then our starting 5 rounds out with Claire Caldwell, who was a freshman. This year she was a defender, rebounder, and shooter for us. Shot at a really high percentage from the outside. And next year she'll be asked to step up and take on more of a scoring responsibility.
So, I mean, I know with kind of the compressed schedule and all that, I know that, teams are going to be like, maybe we should try this maybe next year, maybe when we do get a chance to have a full season. Would you? I don't know how teams are going to do it because, the season starts in November and then having everything there. Do you think teams might try to do that? Maybe, start games in like January and kind of go from there?
I don't think so. I think once we get back to normal, everybody's going to keep their schedule pretty much the same way. I like the idea of only playing 2 games in a week. It gives you more time to practice in between and work on what you need to work on and improve as a team throughout the season. Where when you're playing so many games in less practice time, you can identify what you need to work on in the games, but it's not when you don't have a lot of time and practice to get better at those things that becomes more difficult. I think you saw the more junior and senior heavy teams were really the ones that were better this year because they were able to come right in. Like when we start playing in January again, there wasn't a lot of teaching that needed to be done with our team because we were mostly juniors and seniors. So there was less time for learning, but the senior heavy teams didn't need that extra time because it was just picking up where we left off from last year. But I don't think a lot of teams are going to try to back in their schedule. It's good to have those games in before Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Kyle, thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes, and congratulations on a great season.
All right, thanks.